Cheers.
Cheers. And welcome to your morning cup with iBenz Academy.
I'm Ashley.
And I'm Kara.
And we're Kash.
We're Kash. We just poured ourselves a lovely, lovely cup of hot
dandelion coffee tea.
Coffee tea. But it's not coffee.
It's like tea that's made to be like coffee.
It's like coffee replacement.
Yeah, so like if you are easily affected by caffeine, it's a good alternative. And right now, don't tell anybody, but it's not the morning. So we're having a cup of dandelion tea coffee, so we're not up all night.
Yes.
We still like our cups, our Walk With Me Now mugs full of something.
Yes. And somewhere on the planet, it is the morning.
It is.
We're all connected.
Yep. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good evening. Good afternoon.
Yep, exactly. So what are we going to talk about today, Ash?
So, this funny thing has been happening lately. Well, actually, like for our entire lives, but we just started noticing.
Especially the last few days.
Yeah. I think in the last, few years, there's been awareness that our physical bodies communicate with us.
Yes.
And physical body communication is sometimes, in my experience, it comes in as, maybe just a feeling, an impression about something. It comes in, almost like it's a thought. And, you don't necessarily, unless you pause and say, where did this come from? You might not know it came from your body. Mm-hmm. Maybe it comes in as an emotion. Or sometimes what will happen is it's a physical action. Mm-hmm. And lately there's been some physical actions that our bodies have been taking because we need to pay attention.
Yep.
And as Inelia would say, get back in our bodies.
Yes.
Right? So for background, both Kara and I work, a lot. But this is a common theme. I don't think if you're a new listener, hey, we're workaholics. If you are a returning listener, you already know this. Mm-hmm. So with that, when we're at the computer quite often, the tendency is that as we're sitting at the computer, our awareness drifts, right? Mm-hmm. And so we're not necessarily grounded in our bodies.
Right.
We're not present, fully incarnated in our
Mm-hmm.
physical bodies. It might not just be because of work. I use that as an example of the time and space that it happens. But then we go outside, we go for a walk. Mm-hmm. We
get fresh air.
Yeah.
Or
we
even
get fresh air.
cooking.
Cooking, listening to music, dancing. And we start to come back into our bodies and bring our awareness back in with us. Mm-hmm. So, recently, should I start with my story or do you want to do yours?
Go ahead.
Recently, I'll say my physical body has a preference for being very feminine. Mm-hmm. And wearing beautiful things, doing my hair and my makeup, and wearing beautiful clothes and colors and jewelry. But if you see me right now, I'm in a sweatshirt.
Leggings.
And leggings.
We're both wearing the same leggings.
A gray sweatshirt and black leggings. Dang it, I'm sorry. I didn't listen. So we'll say my soul, I have a tendency that I just go for comfort, casual, whatever's easy. I don't even think about it. I'm thinking about what I'm doing next. And so I've known this about my body for a long time. And I used to actually do a really decent job at wearing dresses all the time, actually kind of focusing on that aspect and embracing that with my body and expressing that for her or allowing her to express that. But recently I just haven't been focused. We've been busy, mm-hmm. There's a workshop, whatever. Mm-hmm. But the other night I went to go turn off the internet at night, and it's something I do every night. Mm-hmm. I turn the internet off, and where I turn it off is right near the ground. So I have to bend over and press this button to turn it off. Well, my other physical body ally, my kitty cat, Cleo. Mm-hmm. Well, the other night I go to bend over to turn it off, and I smack my forehead into the side or corner, of a bookshelf. And it was a sharp corner of this wooden bookshelf. And I was just stunned, what the heck just happened? It was literally if you saw those headbangers in concerts mm-hmm. with the like horns, hands, and like all that. It was kind of like, that's what it felt like. All of a sudden it was just like, boom.
You headbanged, literally.
I headbanged. And I was just like, what the heck? And I knew enough to ask my body, like, why did we do that? What happened? You know? And then I was like, oh, thank God that wasn't my eye.
Right.
So those were the series of thoughts. And then I realized it took me a minute because I was just like, okay, well, oops. But then I realized I was bleeding. And it was like, oh, wow. And then my forehead swells up. So everything's fine with that. But the point was, then I asked my body, why did we do that? What happened? I got an impression, like this feeling and this like visual awareness that she was like essentially saying, you aren't dressing up. You aren't taking care of me. You know, I saw my nail polish, my toes. I didn't actually visually see them, but I saw in my mind's eye my toes that are not painted, you know, and well manicured, you know what I mean, my toenails. And that wasn't like doing my hair, my makeup, and dressing up. So it was a kind of call to action, if you will, because she's definitely been communicating that to me, right? Like, I'm just not listening. So what did she have to do? Like, hey, okay, you're not listening? Fine. Boom.
Yeah. I'll get your attention.
I got your attention. And she did. She got my attention.
Yeah.
I heard it. So now that's where I have the choice to respond, right? And it's one of those things where, truthfully, I really have to put a lot of, structure around it to do that. Because in the mornings, I get up and I start going and doing. And I'll meditate, and then I, get coffee and go. So for me, it's I have to really build the structure for her that we get that time to get ready and get nice. And when you work from home and everything's on the internet, it's really easy to wear a nice blouse and sweatpants
right
to work.
See, from the waist up.
The waist up. Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, that was the part of the communication. And that was, well, not part of it. There was more that came up later in the week, but we can go into that later.
Yes. So I had a similar experience this week. Physical body's getting very loud. So let's see. Recently, I've been working on an instant manifestation item, because we are
instant manifestors,
and there's a workshop happening, and we work on our stuff while that's happening, right? It's a way to learn and practice and teach, and it's good to do the work, and it's a great opportunity to utilize and expand the energies during that time, right? Very powerful, expanded group, so it's kind of we'd be crazy not to. Anyway, so I was working on this item, and it's actually been a manifestation item of mine for a long time. And that day, this was yesterday, I spent some good amount of time really looking at it. For context, it's a work project I've wanted to do for a while. So I was like, okay, I'm really going to do it this time. Make it smaller, more bite-sized, and easier, and all these things. But it does require working on a screen on a laptop, which is about, I would say, 70% of my day. Like you said, the whole workaholic thing. So I was working on this item and was scanning the energy lines and doing the things as mentioned in the process, the methodology of instant manifestation. I was feeling pretty good about it. I was like, yeah, this is good. Yes, all right, let's do it. And then I did get this niggle of, I haven't asked my body if she agrees to this manifestation item. I was like, okay, well, I gotta go. I gotta run. We were heading to the shaman shack. And I made note, okay, I'll look at that later, right? It's part of the homework. So I was getting ready to go. And I was thinking, maybe I should tweak the item to something else. Maybe supporting, or maybe changing the item to get a desk or something. Change it up instead of here's the work project. Maybe change it to a way to support the work. But kind of ignored it and said, time to go. So we're about to head to the shaman shack, And just for some context, I was backing up the car, and my garage door is manual, so it's not automatic. You have to like lift it with your arms and muscles and then close it with your arms and muscles and stuff. And for various reasons, I had to close the door in a way I hadn't done before, so I wasn't really like, I've never done it.
String on the bottom broke off,
Yeah.
and then you're trying to like on the outside push it down with your bare hands on a flat surface.
Yes, exactly. While it's raining.
Yeah.
And all these things. And usually I do it from the inside because there's more grippy parts, and then walk out the door, but the door is getting some repairs, so I can't use it. So I was like, okay, I'll do it on the outside. And then, well, now I think about it, I was not too incarnated. I wasn't very much in my body because about 5 minutes before leaving, I'd just done a meditation. So very like expanded and not really fully back yet. That's probably not a good idea to drive after doing that. Anyway, so I start to pull down the garage door, and then my hands get stuck in between the, what do you call them?
Seam, we'll say.
Yeah, the folding seams of the door, which have a lot of weight. So 6 of my fingers, everything except my little finger, my thumbs, got stuck in the door. And it was like pressed on, like hard. And I had this moment of, oh my God, I think I just broke my hands. Like I broke my fingers. And I somehow like lifted them out. I looked at them. They were instantly like purple, and I could see blood coming to the surface, but the skin wasn't fully broken. But I was like, holy shit. Oops, I just swore. It's part of my French. But I was like, oh my God. And then of course it was super painful. So I kind of paced around, breathing, you know, doing the inhale, exhale technique as found in the fear processing exercise, and just expressed like the shock, right? And then after I calmed down and washed my hands, also you were a very supportive ally, thank you. Mm-hmm. You immediately jumped out and were like, oh my God, Kara, let's get you some ice. What can I do? You're super sweet, thank you. Mm-hmm. That was really nice. So I washed my hands, and you asked me the same question that you'd asked yourself a few days prior of, what's your body saying to you right now? And, you know, I was obviously shaken and like, oh God, what's happening, you know? And then take a moment, feel into her, and immediately I got I'm working too much, right? That was the first feeling. And then later on, when exploring this in more detail, back when I was a little bit more focused and in my body and stuff. Not so shocked, and took some time to like recover a bit and looked at it again. Then I saw, oh, yes, this is about she does not agree to this manifestation item. And she was making it very clear that she did not agree to it because it would require more screen time in a way that would probably be overtaking. And I have a tendency when I'm really into something and I go into the flow, I can like lose hours and like that. And it's actually not too good for the physical body. The soul can be super happy just clicking away on a keyboard or playing computer games for hours and hours and hours. But physical bodies, not so much. They don't really like that. Mm-hmm. They need to move and breathe and not just be sedentary for hours and hours and hours, right? And so the way she felt is that I was adding another thing on top of my workload already, which is still pretty full. So she did not agree. And she was making it very clear that was the case. So just like you, it's like wasn't paying attention, didn't really follow the niggles. The signs were there, and I even thought, oh yeah, I wonder if she agrees. And maybe if I was more incarnated at the time in the body and tuned in and connected fully, probably would have felt and heard the instant nope. But instead, there was this whole story and orchestration of, getting noticed. Fortunately, the damage of my hands our hands is pretty minimal. So it actually wasn't that bad. But it was a very clear message. Mm-hmm. So how did I respond? Well, revisited that manifestation item. Because if you're trying to manifest something and your body doesn't agree, it's not going to happen. Yep. It's not going to happen, period. Yep. So, yep, like we learn in the methodology of instant manifestation, you got to change your item if that's the case.
Yeah.
So I had to change it. So there are probably better, higher frequency ways to communicate with the body. But,
100%.
You know, this is kind of where we're at right now. And there it is.
Yeah. Well, and this is definitely not a story to say, oh, do what we do.
No.
In this regard, because for us, we've actually had, we have some great allies that help, like one another, but also other allies in our life that help us to make sure we get out and we get away from the screens and we have time away and like really give ourselves that space. And, you know, and there's a benefit in some ways of like the purpose in our work and what we do is like, we're not here to just like hang out in this life. At least that's my feeling, right? We're here to do. And so there's a reason we have a lot of energy. It's to do. And that's a good thing. But we have to make sure we also balance it and take care of our bodies. And we've gotten way better.
Yeah.
More structure around it. But the other thing is, too, I think these were mild instances where it could have been something more extreme that our bodies could have gotten us into and taken us out.
Yeah.
And the truth is, it's like our bodies, it's not even them so much getting us into it. It's where did it start is us not listening and taking that time to listen.
Yep.
You know, so it's a wake up call of like, oh gosh, like, I mean, I've stubbed my toe here and there, or, I don't know, maybe had like a little slip or something, and that catches my attention. Oh, you know, get back in my body, pay attention. What's going on? And I check in with her. But this was a different circumstance. This is like a much louder, like, hey, right? Listen to me, right? Yeah. And you know, for our bodies, they have their preferences and their opinions are important.
That's such a great point, because for the longest time, you know, I didn't even think of my body as being a sentient, separate being with its own agendas and programs and wants and experiences and all these things. And of course, you know, thanks to Inelia Benz's work, we get to explore that and look at it. And she's shared a ton of information about this. And it was a game changer. Even just being aware of that is like game changing.
Yeah, I think it was in the Death and Manifestation course where it was the first like mind blown moment of like, oh my gosh, like I'm pretty sure that's where it came from for me. Like, wait, my body has its own consciousness and awareness
and like goals
what?
And programs. What?
Yeah. And opinions, and they aren't just what I want. What?
Right?
Talk about stepping out of I, me, myself.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Exactly. And even just that whole idea of soul mate. It's actually like the soul, the mate of the soul is our body.
One of them.
One of them. And that's pretty incredible. But even just being aware of, you know, that our bodies are these very wise beings. I mean, they're connected to the physical universe in ways that, you know, our souls just really aren't, or at least in a different form of expression. And so they're incredibly wise. And this is why we need to work together and have a healthy, high-frequency communication system in place in order to navigate life, at least in a high-frequency way.
Yep. So an alternative, I was working on my manifestation item as well yesterday, and my manifestation item was around just like being physically active, right? And I thought, oh, this is going to be fantastic because I'm going to connect with my body. This will be an opportunity to like feel good in my skin and help her feel strong and healthy and get a sweat and all these things that we like doing. Well, I called in some allies to get some physical activity happening, but the physical activity was going to be like, running and doing like strength work and things like that. Instantly, I go to get ready because I have this like workout time coming up. I go to get ready, and then something comes up in this big thing, and it turns into like hours, and then I can't work out. And I think I know enough now. I've learned at least to say, that's interesting. I was going to go do this thing, and now all of a sudden all this stuff came up. Like, what's going on?
Yeah.
And fortunately, with allies, looking at like this story around the message I got from my body earlier in the week around the dressing up and taking care of her in that way and having that feminine expression, feminine beauty, that once I put it together with the help of my allies, I was able to see, got it. Okay, so this physical activity of running and doing like strength training is not at all what my body wants, right? Like she does not want to be muscular. It's just not a thing for her. She wants to look, what she feels as feminine is not to be muscular. Of course, so many women are muscular and feminine, but for my physical body, for her, she's like, no, we're not going to do that. Okay, so right away, that manifestation item was just like, nope, not going to happen. And I got blocked.
Yep.
Literally created all these distractions, and it couldn't happen, right? So it was really great because then we were able to adjust it and figure out, okay, what are things that my physical body would be happy to do? And I could actually ask her. And right away, it was like, dance. She wants to dance. Oh, I like dancing. Dancing's fun. We can dance. Okay, we can do that. And then through Walk With Me Now, there's a Dance With Me Now group that gets together and dances. I don't know if it's every week, but I think every so often they get together and they dance. I found some other resources through some other friends on Walk With Me Now who do dancing with video games, and there's just so many options of dancing and just easy. Turn on some music and dance.
Right.
So it was really nice because it's like, okay, that's great. And not only will I dance, but I'm gonna get clothes that'll be nice to dance in, that she'll feel good and happy about. And now it becomes a co-creation.
Right.
Now it's me listening and being responsible to what I'm hearing. I still have to work on, dressing up in the daytime, not just the dancing, getting done up. But it's a work in progress. It's in my awareness. I'm working on it. So, yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting you brought that up because I was having a conversation related to that today of like how I communicate with my body. So every morning, I make sure to have a getting dressed routine. And part of my routine is, of course, like shower and get fresh for the day because that's what my body likes. And then I ask her, what outfit does she want to wear? And it seems like maybe a silly thing, but it's a way for me to consciously connect with her and communicate and make sure her needs are getting met. So this morning, for example, I was feeling pretty low energy. Just, I don't know, woke up kind of like in the middle of an REM cycle or whatever. Just kind of groggy, and it was rainy, and just was feeling pretty low energy. And so I got out of the shower, and I was like, okay, what are we going to wear today? And what I do is I look at different clothes, and I'll truth which one she wants to wear. Or sometimes she'll just give me an image of what she wants to wear. And if you want to learn more about this, check out the Truth and Lies class, because that's basically what I do. I truth it. And today, she's like, we need to wear something very bright. And I want this one or that one. And I went, okay, we'll do this one. So it's also like a collaboration too, right? It's like not, it's like a two-way conversation. It's either this or that. And she's like, no, I don't want that. I'm like, well, I don't want to do that. So how about this? Okay, great. So I pulled out a very bright pink shirt. And I have to say it helped. It lifted my mood. Someone commented on it today, and it was a nice validation for her of like, oh yeah, it is a bright, cheery color. Yay, that's nice.
Very nice. Good example.
Yeah. And it's just little things, like just taking 2 minutes to pick out an outfit.
Yep.
It can
Check in.
make a big difference.
What does your body want to eat? or drink. You know, sometimes there can be even habits there. I've noticed for myself, if I'm not paying attention, then I'll go for something that is maybe convenient or just like, oh, that tastes good. I'll go with that. It's right, you know, whatever. But if I check in with my body, I'll be like, oh, I really want steak, or I want a salad, a big salad, you know, lots of greens. Okay, yeah. And so having those conversations and checking in is really important.
I think there's been several occasions for both of us where we'll like fling our coffee across the room, like spill a coffee cup, or, you know, just something.
It's like, oh, okay, we don't want to drink that.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, okay, then that's a very clear telling sign of we are not having it.
So it's a work in progress. Yeah. Our communication is getting way better than what it was.
Yeah.
But we're still working on it for sure, because it's one of those things where I would love it to be not have to have, like, you know, hit my head against the wall to listen, you know. So life goals.
Yes.
You know, listen more.
Yes. Connect and collaborate. Yeah. Yeah. And this is where allies come in, right? Like you said, it's super important to have high frequency allies who can support. So it's not just, you know, the lone wolf thing. And usually it's more fun that way. Yeah. Whether it's a Dance With Me Now group, or for me, my dog, she definitely makes sure that I go outside at least a few times a day. Because if not, there's consequences. Yep. It's one form of allyship.
And our physical bodies are great at getting allies. You know, like when things happen, all of a sudden the environment responds to what your physical body needs or is trying to tell you. Maybe, you know, animals start to react and like, hey, let's go outside, let's go outside, let's go outside. I want to go outside. Okay, you're not going to listen to me? I'm going to chew everything.
Literally.
Yeah. Or you want to do something like, you know, go lift weights, and then all of a sudden everything gets really busy and crazy. And then it's like, I can't go lift weights. Yep. But your body's like, no, I don't want to. Yep. We're not doing that. Right. So those are some examples, but the environment can also start to, or we give each other feedback and say, hey, you know, you're kind of like, how are you feeling? Yeah. I'm noticing a little bit of gray pigment to your skin.
Yes.
Are you hungry? Do you need meat?
That's true. We have almost like our own
or protein.
Yeah.
Something, yeah.
We have our own communication with each other's physical bodies sometimes. So,
we do. Yeah. Pick up on little things like that. They like to tell each other.
Yeah. Yeah. Because you'll look at me and be like, Kara, you're looking gray. What do you need right now? I'm like, oh, I am? Oh, you know, now that you mention it, yeah, I need this or need that. And it's pretty spot on.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's a little bit of a meta game, but we've got the language down nowadays that, yeah, I just tell you. I see it.
Well, and it's also an agreement, you know?
It's true.
Because it's like, you know, there are situations where you do need to recruit an ally who actually has skills that you don't, so you can learn from them or be consulted with them or by them, and that's the good counsel part, right? And I know Inelia has talked about this before, like, you know, you wouldn't go to her to be a car mechanic or whatever. She goes to a car mechanic, and that's fine, because they have that skill. Now, you don't give away your power and have your car mechanic dictate your life on, like, when you make an appointment and how you get there or whatever. She makes those choices. So it's not a giving away power thing. It's, you know, good allies, good counsel. So that's an important aspect of it, too. Mm-hmm. But it's much easier to be successful with expanded awareness, multiple viewpoints to help us look at this stuff.
Yeah. And in this time on the planet, it's like, I mean, in general, we should be taking care of our physical bodies. Mm-hmm. Yeah. But especially right now, we have to be super diligent about that. And if my physical body, if she needs me to, like, we need to dress up and she needs to, like, be glammed up to feel good and be her full expression of herself, then hey, let's do it.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's no reason not to. No good reason, at least, right?
Right. And we're here to have high frequency experiences. Yep. So
I'm gonna map to all my friends who are glammed up.
It's important.
A few come to mind.
Yeah, it's important because, I mean, we're here to experience, right? Yeah. And what do we want to experience? That's really what building the new paradigm is about. Like, what do we want to experience? High frequency. And beautiful things is a big part of that. It's a healthy part of human expression.
Yep.
And it raises frequency too.
And it doesn't have to just be, oh, okay, she wants me to look like dressed this way, but I don't like it, so I have to do it. Because then you're kind of going into like the martyr program there, right? It could be, all right, so you really want to wear, let's say, something bright and white and kind of shiny. All right, let's look online and see. Like maybe there's something bright and white and kind of shiny that like we can both agree on. Oh, and then maybe some big earrings. Okay. Yep, we can do that. Do we have any of these things? We do. We have a sequins dress that's for, like, in my mind, it's like only I would wear it on New Year's Eve. So that right away is like resistance on my part. I'm not going to wear a sequins dress. Okay, so let's get looking. Let's find something else that might satisfy those things, right? So,
yeah.
Or maybe it's like, oh, well, I could wear that, but maybe I'll just wear it with like leggings so I can stay warm.
Yeah.
You know, because it's too cold, or you know, things like that. You start to figure out how can we satisfy this.
So we would love to hear from the audience. How do you communicate with your physical body?
And how does your physical body communicate with you?
Right. We'd love to hear some stories, maybe some nice ones, maybe some oopsies ones, because you know we're learning. And maybe we can learn from each other. So what stories, what experiences have you had with your physical body and your communication system?
Left palm itchiness.
Yes. Do you want to share with the audience what that means?
We already did in another podcast.
Oh, okay.
But yes, when my left palm gets itchy, money's coming. Cheese coming.
Yes, that's a
Chi of some sort. But usually money.
Yes to that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was in our last.
I like that one.
That was in our last episode. Check it out if you want to learn more about that one.
Yeah.
Do you feel complete?
I do. Do you?
I do.
Nice.
Well, we can't wait to hear your stories. So share with us how you communicate with your body and vice versa.
Yes. So, and it's good to have you here for this morning, afternoon, and or evening cup.
With iBenz Academy.
With iBenz Academy.
We'll see you next time.
Ciao.